Welcome to the Monarch Group podcast. Today, I'm here in Rhodes. I've got a great guest with me, Chris, who's going to tell us all about the store, what's coming up, and then also go into some clothing tips for the upcoming Derby. Hello, Chris.
Hey, how's it going, Alex?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm excited for Derby.
Oh, I know, it's coming right. It feels like just yesterday it was here last year, so it's excited to come around again. You're like drowning under all the orders, and you're
basically, you just go straight from one Derby to the next. So the minute one finishes, you're already planning for this. So we've been planning for 152 since 151 ended, basically.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, it's great you're that busy, though. I mean, I love that for you. Now, this is a really cool building. For me, first time I've been in here, and it is a huge building. How long have you all been here?
We've been in this space since right around 2000, 2001. It's an older building than that, but we've been here for almost 20, 30 years. We're really fortunate to have the entire space for both the men's and women's side. We have our tailor shop downstairs, so we get to do everything in-house, which is a huge advantage to us.
So you've been here for a long time now. What's the history? What's the story of the company for people who've never heard of Rhodes?
Yeah, so it's a long history. We were founded in 1914, March 17th, 1914. So on St. Paddy's Day, we just celebrated our 112th birthday. And it's an amazing story. I won't get into the whole history, but we've survived 2 world wars, 2 pandemics, 2 depressions, and we are still here. And we have an amazing staff. Most of us are from here. I have coworkers that have worked here for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, longer than I've been alive, even though they probably don't want me saying that. But it's an amazing place, and we are about as Louisville as it gets, man. It's special for sure.
I was about to ask if you'd have been here for the 2 world wars as well. I was like, oh, you're a lot older than you look.
I look
Chris.
really good, right? For 115. No, actually, so one of my coworkers, Mr. Jim Hines, shout out, the ambassador, he just celebrated his 62nd year at the company. Our marketing director, Fred Teal, has been here almost as long, about 55 years. And they started here and worked their way all the way up. So I'm surrounded by an immense amount of experience and a wealth of knowledge. I've been here about 10 years almost, and I'm a newbie still. So it's a lot of fun. You know, a lot of respect for my coworkers for sure.
That's a great testament to the company as well. For people staying around that long, nobody stays around that long if they're not enjoying it. So what a testament,
especially
to
in retail. Retail is a very transient industry, particularly for our age group. People bounce around a lot. So when I first interviewed here, and my coworkers had been here for decades, it was the first sign of like, okay, this is a wonderful company to work for. We have the best boss in the world. Like I said, I think we're on the 5th or 6th generation of being a family-owned business. So it really is a special place.
That's awesome. I love that. And what do you all do? So quick elevator pitch for people out there. What do you all do?
We're all about dressing our clients in the finest clothing. We sell everything from tuxedos and formal wear down to swim trunks and T-shirts. So we try to cover all the bases for both men and women. The men's store itself, we offer complimentary alterations, really just personalized styling services. My coworkers and I really take the time to get to know our clients. That way we can make the best recommendations and we're not just selling to them. It's a very intimate and personal business. And I would say the easiest way to describe it is that we like to offer an elevated level of service, and also we're very fortunate to sell the finest clothing and accessories in the entire state. We're very fortunate with that.
How do you all source your clothing? Do you have people that go out and look for it, or do people reach out to you? How does that work?
Yeah, so our buyer, Mr. Jim Porter, he's been doing this a long time. He travels all around the world from New York, Chicago, Milan. He sources each individual piece directly from the brands. It's painstaking. It is a grueling process. It takes weeks, if not months, to curate everything we have in the store. And then a lot of times when we bring things in, it's a very limited amount. And so when you see something hanging in our shop outside of your basic, blue suits, blue blazers, white dress shirts, those sorts of things that are all year round pieces, most of our seasonal pieces are specifically curated for our clients. And once you buy one, you're not going to see it again. We also offer made-to-measure services. So if someone is a very specific fit, or if they're looking for a specific item that they can't find anywhere else, you can, most of the time, if someone says, hey, I want to make this, I want this, the answer is, well, we can try. So it's a huge advantage for us because we get to work with, again, the finest companies, the finest garments in the entire world, and bring them right to Louisville, Kentucky, straight from the most beautiful cities in the entire world.
That's amazing. Yeah, and Kentucky's not really known for its fashion as well, so to bring that in, that's incredible.
No, we get a bad rap. The one of my first days here, I had an older gentleman come in and he asked for the Louisville suit. I was 23 at the time. I did not know what he meant by that. And he said, I'm looking for a navy blazer, white shirt, and khaki pants. And like a little part of me died on the inside. I was like, oh God, that's not what we're known for. But it's a very classic town with, to your point, it's not super cosmopolitan. But when we have our clients that do get dressed up, that do appreciate dressing nice and the fineness of the clothing and that luxury aspect, they look great. And so we're really happy to be able to offer that, European, Italian clothing experience and bring that to Louisville, because we have a lot of clients that appreciate that. And we also have clients all over the world, and they travel all over the world and they want to look their best. And so that's what we're most known for.
Yeah, and I love that because it's not easy to find if you don't know where to look as well.
Exactly.
Like you can go to your Macy's and go to your other store and they've got stuff that's, everyone's wearing it everywhere, but it's not quite to the level that everything is in here. I mean, just my quick walk through a second ago, I could already tell it's at a different level to Macy's. And one of my questions I wanted to ask you, which you've already alluded to some of the things, is what makes you different from other clothing retailers like the Macy's or any other shops in town?
I would say the main word we always come back to is service. So I'm not just here to sell you clothes. I'm here to get to know you, get to know your family, get to know your lifestyle. So that way I can make the recommendations that fit your life and your aesthetic and your style. It's not about what I think looks good. It's about what you think looks good on you and what fits best for your life, and everyone's different. I may disagree with my clients sometimes on what they think looks good, but at the end of the day, it's our job to serve them. So obviously the tailoring aspect is huge. Having an in-house tailor, we have Ms. Susanna works on our women's side and David Amaya is our men's tailor. They are the best in the city. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but they're able to help fit and curate a garment that even if it doesn't fit right off the rack, which most people can't just walk into a store and wear something off the rack, we're able to offer that elevated service of, well, let's fit that garment. And again, the made to measure experience. Well, you have something really specific for your wedding you're looking for. Well, we're gonna design that for you and help you. The entire process of made to measure is detailed. And so having someone like myself or my colleagues kind of help walk through that, because a lot of times it's a big investment financially. You want to have someone in your corner that's thinking about you and not just, well, what am I trying to sell you? So I would say the service aspect is the main thing that helps separate us from our competitors and other clothing stores out there.
Yeah, and that's a tough thing to find because there's some places where all they do is sell it and like without the alterations, which is just, then it's just the trust in the person who you're sending it to, and you might not, and doing it all local and in the same spot, it's going to be done right. It's going to be taken care of.
Exactly. Now we go to great lengths to make sure that we listen to our clients, that we take into consideration their hopes, their dreams, their wishes, and then you do your best to help them. And I think overall, that's what we do a really, really good job at, is getting to know our clients and really listening to what they're asking for, and also providing guidance and education. I think one of the things I've taken away the most from my time here is I've learned so much about how garments should fit on a gentleman. There are certain rules you want to follow. You don't want to fly too much towards the trends. It's more about timeless pieces that are, again, investments, because we like to think that a well-curated and well-designed wardrobe is as important as anything else for a young professional or an older professional, or even someone who's retired, but they still want to look nice and they want to go out to dinner and be able to take their wife or their spouse out and say, hey, I want to look presentable. So being able to provide them with education and knowledge about fabrications and fit and all that sort of thing is big. And that is something that not a lot of places are gonna do, like walk you through, like, why do you wear a tuxedo to certain occasions? What do certain dress codes mean? Like all that sort of stuff. My colleagues are incredibly knowledgeable about it, and I've had the fortune of being able to kind of listen and steal from them over the years of, you pick up on certain things, and it makes a big difference at the end of the day when, you're not just like selling them a suit or selling them a garment, but actually trying to educate them on why things should be a certain way and why should you invest in that particular garment. That's a big part of it.
Yeah, and that aspect of getting to know your client, I can imagine, just speaks volumes and goes to the whole extra mile. Because I know, like, for me personally, like, I'll go out and shop and I might like something, but then when I get home, I'm like, this doesn't feel comfortable, this doesn't feel right for me, and feel like you'd bridge that gap between like, getting people from just buying clothes to feeling comfortable in their clothes.
Well, men particularly, I can't speak as much to the women's side, but men in particular, over my time, I've realized most guys don't like to shop, like to buy. So they want to come in, they have a specific request, whether it's a pair of jeans up to a full new wardrobe, and they want to know that they're getting the best investment. And the way to do that is to make them not only just assuring them that you care about them as a person, but also that you care to take the time to ask about the details. And that can be everything from the length of how your trousers fit to what size am I? I mean, nowadays it's so hard to. We've all gone jean shopping. It's so impossible. It's almost impossible to go out nowadays and just buy a pair of jeans and it just fits and it works. It's like you have to be willing to try things on. So as they're doing that, I'm not just like, how do you like the jeans? It's no, like, tell me about you. Tell me about your work, your family, your friends. What do you do for fun? How do you like to present yourself when you're out? All that is a part of what we do, and it's more about getting to know our clients. I'm biased. I think we have the most interesting and best clients in the entire world, and that's really what makes our business successful is the people. And it's more so about the people than it is just the clothing. So getting to know our clients is the utmost priority. And a lot of times I tell my clients, it's the best answer is yes. The next best answer is no. Because if you tell me, no, I don't like that, I now know, okay, I'm not going to show you those things. I'm going to show you things that actually work for you. Or sometimes you got to be honest with people. Like if you came in, Alex, and you're trying on a pair of pants and you're like, I like these a lot, and they don't fit you, I'm going to tell you, I don't think those fit. I think you should go for something else. I think you should try a different silhouette or a different fabric. And that a lot of times helps build a rapport and a trust between you and the client that they don't just get from walking into a department store. And that's not to, poo-poo department stores, because I have friends that work department stores. I've worked in, bigger retailers. And you just want to find someone that will take the time to actually ask those questions and be honest with you. And there's been times where I've had to tell people, no, we can't do that. And I don't feel in good conscience that I would put you in that because it doesn't fit or it doesn't look right on you. Or your wife actually hates that. Don't buy that. So there's just certain things that you have to be willing to do as a consultant, as a stylist, that maybe are antithetical to like building a business or not building a business, but like selling and generating income. But it's more about like building that trust and rapport so that when you go back home and say, oh, wow, he actually took the time to like care about how I looked and presented myself, like that's huge. And we really do, we pride ourselves on that. I think that's the one thing I see all my colleagues do, and we're all very, very staunch on, is not just selling clothes, but like really, really trying to build that relationship. It's everything.
So is it to the point now where, like, if you said you've got rotating stock and you only have limited stuff, when things come in, do you already have like, hey, I've got so and so in mind, this is going to be great for them? Do you call them like, hey, and just come try out this piece?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I would say at least a significant portion of the time, maybe less than half of the time, but almost half the time when our buyer Jim is out in the market, he's coming back to us and asking like, hey, do you think Mr. Jones would like this piece? Because when he's out, you pick things out a year in advance. So we're already working on next spring and summer and bringing things in for the store. And he's asking me and my colleagues like, hey, do you think this person would like this? If so, I'll get it in their size and I'll show it to them. And that takes a lot of thought, not just like, hey, I like this. I think this is cool. We're going to buy it for the store. Like, no, what are our clients actually going to enjoy? And so you do almost like, market research, and you try to figure out what people are going to gravitate towards. And if they say no worries. At least you tried. But no, absolutely. There are certain things we buy for the shop that we sell hand over fist that we're always going to sell. But at the same time, you're always kind of thinking about what client would want this. And we always have specific people in mind when we're out in the market buying very cool stuff where it's like, this is going to be for you. And that, along with the made to measure component, just gives it a personal aspect that you're not just going to find at a random department store, or a random shop in the mall, So again, it's all very specifically curated for our clients. For sure.
So rather than having a store to sell clothes, you have a store for your clients' clothes.
That's a really, really good way to put it, Alex. Yeah, for sure. And a lot of what we do too. So like I work with a lot of clients with their closets. So I'll go the extra mile and I'll go to a person's house and we'll go into their closet and, let's say they have a bunch of stuff that they've lost weight and doesn't fit anymore. Or they have a bunch of clothes that they've gotten. They're like, I don't really like this. It doesn't feel like me. And I always liken it to like real estate. If you guys had a row of houses and out of 5 of them, 3 of them are abandoned and you've got, you need to bulldoze them essentially. It's like, well, you're not just going to leave them sitting there. You're going to tear them down. And you're going to build something new. And that's another philosophy of like getting to know our clients where they say, I haven't worn this piece in years and I want to find a way to utilize it. And so we do those sorts of things. And so again, that goes to the next level of service of really starting to understand where our clients are coming from so that they don't just feel like I'm not just like pushing things on them. It's about how does this work with your current wardrobe, because it's a big part. How you present yourself is huge. And our clients are all kinds of walks of life, all kinds of industries, and it's fascinating to get to know them. But at the end of the day, 90% of the time, how they present themselves directly affects their life and business. Mm-hmm. And so how can we be of service to help you is the main thing. It really, really is. And that can be anything from I want my shirt sleeves to fit right to I need good socks because I don't have good socks to wear on my shoe. Like little things. And you'd be amazed at the little stuff that means a huge amount to certain people.
Yeah, and those are sometimes what make the biggest difference, and the average person wouldn't think about that. Like, I know,
yeah,
I don't
the
think
details,
about it,
man.
yes.
The details, the devil is in the details 100%, particularly with menswear, because so much of our clothing, for the most part, pretty standard. Dress shirts, pants, jacket, quarter zip sweaters, those sorts of things. Those are eternal, timeless pieces. But like the fit is everything. The fit in the fabric makes the biggest difference. And so once you understand that and then get to know your clients, you can make really good recommendations. And again, that's what builds the trust. That's what builds the relationship, so that then they come back because they know, oh yeah, Chris has my back. He's not just a salesperson. He's actually trying to enhance and make my life better in some form way. And I'm a firm believer that your clothing speaks volumes to who you are, particularly if you are in a forward-facing industry like real estate, like sales of any kind. Like you're selling yourself a lot of times. We understand that. So how you present yourself, at least in my opinion, is a huge, huge, huge aspect of that. And we're just here to try and make it better, make it easier for everybody.
Yeah, and sometimes having that second eye, like I know at times, like I've been in closed stores and the change room, and got someone faced. I'm like, hey, what does this look like? Having a
That's
professional.
super common. That actually one of my favorite things nowadays is the FaceTime. And I would say it's a large percentage of the time where you're working with a guy and he got a full outfit on. Let's say they're going to Derby, they're getting ready, and they're like, hold on, let me FaceTime my wife, or let me FaceTime my buddy who I value his opinion. Because like I'll tell them, hey, it looks great. But of course they think I'm just trying to sell them, which I get. But over time, once you build that rapport, they understand like, no, I'm not just trying to sell you clothes, man. I'm trying to enhance your life through your clothing. And it's a big distinction. It really, really is. But that is one of my favorite things about modern technology. And we do that a lot. I mean, I've got buddies that they'll be going out to a dinner or whatever, and I get a quick, like, 3 pictures like, hey, Chris, what do you think about this outfit? And it's like, sometimes I'm like, that's whack, dude. Don't wear that. Or at that point, a lot of times they're already out. I'm like, well, next time, text me earlier. But I had a buddy one time who was living abroad. I'd get these messages at like 2, 3 in the morning. He's going out with buddies for dinner, and he's like, what do you think of my outfit? Now, I didn't respond, but after the fact, I'd be like, that's pretty good, dude. Good job. Like you did. So that's a fun part about our job is like people respect our opinions. But no, man, I've had to be brutally honest sometimes with dudes where I'm like, you cannot wear that. You cannot. And most of the time it's because stuff doesn't fit right. That's 90% of the time it doesn't fit. There's very few times where I'm like, no, you don't want to wear purple and red together. Like, just don't do that. But that's exceedingly rare. Most guys are pretty good about like, hey, I know it looks good on me. I know what colors match, relatively speaking. But we're always there to kind of help you take it to the next level. Mm-hmm. That's where I think we step in for sure.
That professional advice. And you sort of went over what you cover, what you sell, and what you help people with a little bit. What would you say is your main percentage? Because I know you do like all sorts of, any types of clothing. What do you mainly do, or what do you find, or is it pretty spread across all of you?
It's widespread now, Alex. I'll tell you that most of the time nowadays it's casual wear. I mean, most people don't dress up on a day-to-day basis. It's a very small portion of the people that get dressed up in a suit and a tie. And I really think overall the suit and tie everyday guys, there's just not as many. And that's okay. I mean, I like to get dressed up. It's part of why I got into the industry is I like to dress nice. Most of the time guys are walking out, they're in quarter zips, button down shirt, dress shirts, nice 5-pocket pants, maybe a nice pair of trousers every now and again. So nowadays our business is so driven by what I would call like the smart casual, business casual, quote unquote ideal. what we really specialize in, obviously, not just that sort of thing. We try to sell a little bit of everything and offer a little bit of everything to people, but we are most known for our tailored clothing. And by that, I mean suits, sport coats, blazers, tuxedos. So much of our clothing business, and by clothing, again, I mean tailored, dressier clothing, is driven by events. So my daughter's getting married and it's black tie. My wife and I got invited to an event and it's black tie optional. What does that mean? So again, that's where the education piece comes into it, telling our clients, hey, like, that's an event where you need a tuxedo for, or that's an event where you can get away with a nice sport coat. And so then again, it's, hey, if I'm going to invest the, couple $1,000s into a nice outfit, I want to make sure it fits right. I want to make sure it's going to work, not just for the event, but for any events in the future too. But obviously, like, we sell a lot of beautiful tailored clothing. That's kind of our specialty. Also, people know us for our made-to-measure services between Xenia, Isaiah, and now Monroe, which is kind of a newer made-to-measure brand for us. We do a lot of custom clothing. So that's what people, when we get new clients that come in, whether they've searched us on Google or they've asked ChatGPT or whatever, a lot of times that's what they're looking for. But nowadays, so much of our business is driven by the casual realm, whether it's brands like Peter Millar and Faraday, which are, sporty golf wear, resort wear, that sort of thing, everyday kind of stuff. But once you get guys comfortable with the fact that they can come here for anything, the definition of what we sell expands. But a lot of times when people come in, they're mostly looking for dress clothes, suits, blazers. They know us from that. But that's also been the majority of our history, has been selling nicer clothing. But the world's changed, particularly post-COVID. The world has totally changed. And so we try to keep up with it as best we can while sticking true to the roots of who we are and who we have been as a company for that long.
Did you help people speaking of COVID, during the COVID times and the Zoom, did you help people with the dressed up from the top and the casual from the bottom down? Did you help anyone with that? For
fashion, it was a weird time. Yes is the answer. Thinking back on it now is actually kind of wild. Like, what are we, 6 years past? And I think back like to where we were. The store shut down. We closed, I think, the day before our anniversary. It was like March 15th, 16th, something like right then. And we were closed for 6 weeks. I don't know if you guys know this, but the 6 weeks leading up to Derby, kind of a big deal for our business. So we were closed for that period of time. And in that time, we definitely had a lot of people that were on Zoom calls, and they were, how do I dress for this? Like, to your point, I'm in pajamas all day, but I have a big meeting I have to go to. Like, the work didn't stop. So yeah, no, we did consultations with people over Zoom.
Wow.
Hey, how do I look nice on camera while also I don't want to put on my suit at home? So that was big. We sold a lot of sneakers, a lot of loungewear, a lot of things like, and even nowadays, like a lot of athleisure, that kind of buzzword. And what we're seeing now is kind of a reversion back to more traditional clothing, which I am a huge proponent of. I think we do need to get back to dressing nice. And a lot of our generation, I think, is starting to kind of get away from, again, not calling out any specific brands, but like the Lululemonization of life, where everything was like polyester and athletic wear, and I'm just going to wear my track pants and my sneakers. Like, guys are getting back to dressing up. But yeah, during COVID, it was fascinating actually how we had to pivot. But it's just, again, it's a testament to our store, my coworkers, my colleagues, our owner, everybody involved, because it was scary. We didn't know if we were going to make it through, and a lot of retailers closed. But we did, man. But again, it was about going back to the people. We reached out to clients that we knew were still working, and like, hey, how can we be of service? And it was tough, but made it through. And I think we're growing and on a great uptick right now. So it is kind of crazy to think back on that time frame of like, I mean, everyone was at home in their sweatpants, but then you had guys that were like, I have to lead a Zoom call for like 500 people. I can't just wear my t-shirt. So yeah, no, we definitely did that for sure. It was weird. I don't want to go back to it at all. Please, God.
I can't believe it's been that long as well. I mean, that's crazy.
I was thinking the same thing the other day, man. As we kind of hit this anniversary of that time, I'll never forget. Because you obviously none of us understood what was going on, but you get so in the flow of just like showing up to work and doing your thing, and like so much of our business is person to person. We can't, I've done some Zoom consultations before. It's never as effective as being in person with the gentleman, fitting them. And I did have some in-person consultations where we had to wear masks and shut down and open up the store for just that person and do health screening checks and all that. But like we did it, and it's because we still had guys out there that needed the help. So we tried to fit in where we could. I thought we did about as good of a job as anybody could in this set of circumstances. But it was tough. It was tough for sure. Yeah, like I said, let's never go back. I like this is much better.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you all made it out the other side of that. Mm-hmm. Before I go to my next question, one thing that I do want to clarify, we've been talking a lot about sort of everything you do on the men's side, but pretty much all the services you do for the women's side as well. Don't want to get anyone confused that it's just a men's store. It's like
correct.
You do both.
No, I work on the men's side. We have amazing colleagues of mine that work on the women's side. Jordan, our buyer, she's amazing. Women's fashion is so much, it rotates so much more. There's so many more brands. There's so much more out there. Our brands have pretty much been the same for 20 years with some changes every now and again with some new ones or filtering out ones that maybe don't fit the shop anymore. But no, the women's fashion aspect for our side is the same way. It's very personal, and it's very detail oriented. I am always amazed at how detailed women's fashion is compared to men. And that's not saying it's not for us too, but no, the women's side, we have 4 amazing salespeople, like I said, an amazing seamstress. And it's as thriving now as it's ever been. They are always getting in cool new brands. And I'm always amazed at how well they do, how good of a job that they do. Because women's fashion is much more complicated than men's fashion, 100%.
Yeah, I'm sure none of them are FaceTiming their husbands to get a check on that as
well. No. That's actually this part of the year as we get into Derby is a lot of fun because this is where the men will start to kind of match the women. Most of the time, guys are pretty simple when it comes to everyday wear, but for the events, especially when it's Derby and so much of it surrounds women's fashion, particularly the hats and the fascinators and the dresses. That one of my favorite things about this time of the year is that you get like we have a shared hallway, and so you get almost like this fashion show where the wife is shopping on the women's side with one of my colleagues, and I've got the gentleman over here, and they're doing like this thing where they come and meet in the middle, and she'll kind of look at him and go, I don't know, and it's like, well, this is what I'm wearing, so we need to figure this out, and they because you want to coordinate and compliment. It's not prom, but you want to look nice together. So it's one of my favorite things is when we get really busy and you've got guys and gals running across, trying to make sure you got the right hat and the right tie and everything. It's just so much fun. But no, they do an amazing job. I could never, don't ask me to help with any women's fashion. I will not be of any assistance at all, but I can put a shirt and a tie together, but anything else besides that, you want one of my ladies to help you out for sure.
Yeah, we'll push them to the other side of the store.
Yeah. I've had clients ask me before, like, oh, do you do women's fashion? I'm like, you don't want me doing any women's styling, dude. You're not going to look as good as they're going to make you look. I promise.
Yeah, let them stick with the experts over there.
Stick with what you're good at, right? Stay in your lane for sure. That's the first lesson I learned here for sure.
So we are very close to Derby, and when this actually goes up, we're going to be a few weeks out. So Derby's coming up, busy period for you. Mm-hmm. What are you seeing this season? What's coming up? What's maybe some quick tips for people going to Derby, or maybe have never been to the track? And what would you say is your quick tips for it?
I'd say the first thing is know where you're sitting. Different areas at the track have different expectations in terms of your dress. So if you're on the first floor, you're not upstairs, maybe you're just going to the infield with some friends. I've seen people dress in everything from T-shirts and shorts to full seersucker suits, but just know where you're going to be. If you're sitting up in the mansion, or you're a Millionaire's Row, or you're going to be with people that dress really nice, my feeling is I'd rather you be overdressed than underdressed. So understanding where you're going to be. Also, which day you're going to. Nowadays, we say Derby. It doesn't just mean the Saturday. It's a whole week now. It's almost more than a week. I mean, you start on opening night on Saturday. You got Sunday races this year. I think they're doing Sunday night races. Monday's the only time where they don't have any races, but then you've got 5-0 Tuesday, Wednesday, Thurby. They all have their own little thing. Obviously, Oaks, typically, it's encouraged you wear pink, so you want to incorporate that. And don't wear a full pink suit if you don't want to, but, you throw in a pocket square or a tie with a little pink or a shirt. That way you're staying on theme. So that's the first thing. Second thing, it kind of goes back to the main point of what I'll get across is the fit. the good thing is for menswear is that most of the pieces can be worn again. So if you get a nice sport coat, you come in, I'm going to make sure it fits you now and that it also fits your wardrobe going forward. So if you're not a guy who's going to go, and then we do have some guys that they peacock on derby and that's their thing, but then during the week you would, they're in scrubs because they work in medical offices or something, but then on derby they go crazy. So we have those guys, but for the most part, most gentlemen want to come in and have something that they say, okay, I want to wear this to the track. I want to wear this to Keeneland. I want to be able to wear this to a wedding, cocktail hour, if I'm taking the wife out for a nice dinner. So making sure it fits you, your proportions in your body, but then also fits your wardrobe is the second thing. And the third thing is like, this is the time to take risks. So if you don't normally wear a bow tie, let's see what a bow tie looks like on you. If you don't normally wear a hat, the hat for guys is as important to me as the hat for ladies. I think it just is quintessential derby style. But if you're normally a blue blazer, white shirt, khaki pants, Louisville suit kind of guy, this is the time to maybe look at a purple, a teal, a green, orange, something bright and colorful. This year we're seeing purple is a big color for men. Green has been big the last couple of years because it tends to look good on everybody and you can pair a lot with it. And it also is a great springtime color. So those would be kind of like my three main tips. And there are some specific things we can kind of get into for this year that I'm seeing. But just overall, those would be the biggest three.
Okay, it's funny how the colors match sort of what's in real estate as well, because green's been huge in real estate as well. So
and it's been with weddings too. I can't tell you, and this is not derby related, I can't tell you how many green suits we've made for clients because that's not a color you're going to see a lot at. But the thing about green, it's the same thing with purple, is that it's an earth tone. It looks good on almost everybody. So like for all my fair, pale complected people like myself out there, green is a great color for you. Purple is a great color for you. You may not be able to go out there and wear a red sport coat, and that's totally fine. It doesn't look good on everybody. So again, that's where it goes into understanding what colors look good on you. And that's a whole other discussion, but that is huge. Now, obviously, if your spouse or your significant other is wearing, say, an orange fascinator because she can absolutely rock orange or coral or something like that, again, you're not going to go and get like a coral sport coat or suit, but maybe throwing on like a little pocket square or something to incorporate that so that you guys coordinate. But that way you're still sticking, like, if you're wearing blue or tan or something like that, just for God's sake, this is a PSA, just don't wear black. Just don't wear black. It's the one rule. Black is for black tie optional or funerals. Don't wear black to the track. I've seen some guys try to do it. It never looks good. You look like you're going to a funeral. So that's my only rule, y'all. Everything else is pretty much fair game, but keep your black suit for that black tie optional wedding that you have to go to, okay? That's it.
Trying to think back, I feel like one time I went with black pants and a gray jacket, and
Alex,
I know.
dude.
Well, I didn't know you at the time.
Exactly.
Chris,
I would have told you. And gray too, like gray and charcoal, like that's for business or for like cocktail hour. But the derby is typically about bright spring fun colors. That's what you want to go for.
I think I had a flowery, colorful tie. So my mind was like, that was my pop. Like,
well, at least you kind of had it going on a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, I've seen some guys go out there with like black suits, and I'm like, unless you're a mob boss, it just doesn't look good, man. You know what? And I guess if you're spending a certain amount of money, you can kind of wear whatever you want. I would just really caution against it because you look like a mortuary. And we're not going for that, okay? We're going for fun. Derby's fun. That's what it's all about.
And the other thing, it can also be super hot. And
yes.
The black suit does not sound great.
You have to. That's another. Actually, it's a really good point. Preparing for all kinds of weather. Men can do this a little bit easier, than ladies can because it's just dresses and sundresses, that sort of thing, don't lend itself to like if it rains. Like for all the people that know, I don't know if you had been here yet, but 2018, the Justify year where it rained. I'm not kidding you, for 24 hours straight. And they kept saying like, oh, it's going to pass. And by the time I left the track, I was like ankle deep in water. You got to prepare for all kinds of weather because May in Louisville could be anything. So make sure you have a nice lightweight rain jacket in case it rains. If you're going to be outside, if you're covered, you're probably good. Make sure you've got nice shoes that are comfortable. All these things that are like logistic you wouldn't think about until you're 8 hours deep at the track and your feet are killing you and you're like, why'd I wear these loafers? Because they look good. Definitely like comfort in the footwear is big. ladies can bring a change of shoes, but guys typically you're gonna have that shoe on the entire day. So make sure it's comfy. But yeah, black would, if it's 90 degrees outside, you're probably gonna sweat through it, and that's just not a good look for anybody. So.
The comfort's a big one. I think I've experienced that in the past. Comfort is huge, especially like at the end of the night, you're waiting for your Uber to get back, to get there, and you want some comfy footwear.
The last thing you want to do is be the guy walking out with your shoes off because your feet killing you, because it's just not. Again, ladies, y'all can pull it off. You have the heels on all day. We get it. But a dude walking with his loafers in his hand, it just doesn't look right. Just get shoes that are comfy, even if they're kind of that sneakery look. If you're not wearing a tie, I always recommend, if you're wearing kind of a sneaker bottom shoe, don't have a tie on. But nowadays, you can get away with a nice sport coat and a pocket square, wear it kind of open neck. Throw on your hybrid, dress sneakers. They're more comfortable. Or just make sure, and you can come in and see us if you need help with this. Come and try on shoes and make sure that your feet feel good, because they're the two things that'll kill the vibe for guys with their clothing more than anything is a neck that's too tight on your shirt and your shoes that don't fit, man. It's a no-go for sure.
Yeah, the neck thing, I've experienced that before. Friend's wedding, I told him my neck size. This was back in England. I told him my neck size, got there, and he was like, well, I didn't really think you were that size. And I was choking for a whole wedding. I was like, I'm leaving. I'm not.
I told you.
Yeah, I'm like, I've got receipts. I've got the receipt. And he didn't. So yeah, I will definitely echo.
When you're a broad dude, so the last thing I want is you sitting there with a shirt that's make you feel like your head's about to pop off like a balloon. No, that's another thing that goes into what we do is the sizing and the fit. Because nothing, again, you could spend $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 on a beautiful outfit, and if it doesn't fit right, it's gonna look and feel like trash. So that is a huge part of it. We want you to feel comfortable, look nice, so that the next time it arises, you come back knowing we're gonna take care of you. You're gonna feel good. That's the main. It's why you get nice clothes. You want to look good and feel good. So
yeah, those are some great tips. I love all that. Some things that people wouldn't often think about as well, which make it just have a great day. Now, before I pivot to to my next question, I always have to ask people, being in Louisville, is so much local stuff here, especially food. What's your favorite? What's your go-to Louisville food place?
I guess it depends. So my wife and I have our favorite spot for if we are going to a go-to restaurant for comfort food. It's Vietnam Kitchen. It's down. I don't know if you've been there yet. It is the smallest, most wonderful Vietnamese lunch dinner spot. Actually, my wife's friends worked there back in the day, so she has a definite emotional tie to it. But when we were first dating, that's where we would go in college for if we were going to splurge on a meal. And it's amazingly authentic and wonderful, run by wonderful people. But then also we're big pizza people, so I'll tell you that parlor pizza is big in our house when we just want a good comforting big old pie pizza, and I love their wings. And then, gosh, there are so many, a nice upscale restaurant, I guess, if I had to categorize it. Ooh, gosh, there's so many. I could really. Volare is probably my favorite. We're close with the owners and the staff there, and it's wonderful food, and they're like us, where it's all about service, and they'll go out of their way to make you feel welcome. And to me, there's obviously other great Italian restaurants. It's the best Italian food in the city, and I'm partial. I love Italian food, so I would say those three are in constant rotation at some point in our household for sure.
That's a great list you've got there. I always feel like I ask people this question, talk about their job and the whole podcast and everything they do, and the hardest question is always, what food do you prefer in Louisville? Because that's so tough.
It's big, man. You probably realized doing this podcast, we have a lot of the cuisine here is really, that's actually one of my favorite parts when people come in for Derby and they've never been here before. Maybe they've been here once or twice and they're staying in Nulu and they're like, well, where can I go to eat? I'm like, dude, you could pick 10 places on that street and you're going to have a great time, and they're all unique in their own way and they're all delicious. Or if they're staying out this area of town, we're right across the street from Grasa Grama and Mojitos, which are great spots, again, locally owned. So that's one thing we're really spoiled with here is all the locally owned restaurants. And I bet if you ask 10 people, you're going to get 10 different answers, which is it just epitomizes the wonderful part about being in Louisville is that you have that local flavor. So no, we're definitely spoiled for sure.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And each of those 10 people, none of them are wrong as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're all right.
No, I would hear an argument. We get into pizza is a big thing here, right? So there's a lot of cool local pizza places. I could hear an argument for about 10 different places. If you said like, hey, no, this place is better than that place, you know what? I'll go try it and I'll tell you. You know what? And that's what I love about this city. I'm obviously biased. I'm born and raised. I went to Ballard High School, so I'm right here in my little circle of life. But it's wonderful when you get people who aren't from here and you can recommend like 20 different places for them to go depending on what their vibe is, what they're looking for. No, we're spoiled for sure. And we moved away during COVID and to move back. It took moving away and then coming back to be like, oh yeah, we've got great spots here, man, for sure.
Yeah, and that's one of my favorite things about being here in Louisville is that everything is so local, and the community gets behind it, and that's why I like love that this store is local. It's owned by local people. It's run by local people, and it's not just a number or anything. It's the local people. It's your friends. Essentially, that's I'm sure that's the feeling that you
it's
get
family oriented for sure. And it's definitely one of those things where it working at a small business and a family owned business makes you appreciate particularly restaurants because of how competitive it is and how hard it is to run a restaurant. You just appreciate when you go to those places, like the effort and the care that goes into it, for sure. So no, it gives you a better perspective. My dad's also a small business owner, so I understand the plight and the struggle of owning a small business. But Louisville to me is the perfect size city to have a small business because it's a big small town, but at the same time it's 1 million people in this city, so like you feel like people, and at the same time you always meet new people, and it's kind of like you're bringing them into the tent, bringing them into the family a little bit, and that's really meaningful to us for sure.
Yeah, I love that. I'm with you on that one. I love the local aspect. So before we finish, how do people get hold of you? Where do they find you? And if they want to come and try some clothes, what should people do? You
come see us. We're at 4938 Brownsboro Road. If you're a Louisvillian, we're right across from Holiday Manor, right next to Ballard High School. Shouts out to the Bruins. And we are here 6 days a week. We close on Sundays, 9:30 to 5:30 every day. And if you need to be here early or later in the day, you let one of us know. We're happy to keep the doors open for you. We understand a lot of times people's schedule can be kind of hectic, so let us know. We're happy to make accommodations. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on all those things, so you can find us at Rhodes Louisville. If you want to get a hold of me, just shoot me a DM on our Instagram page, and we'll be happy to get you in and get you started and see what you need and how we can help and how we can be of service.
Awesome. That's great. Well, I appreciate you being on the podcast.
Thanks,
and I definitely think people should come in, see the store, and get familiar and meet all the people here and start.
Get you ready for Derby, man. Come on.
I know. I need to go find something different from the black suit that I was preparing. I had it all laid out and everything ready to go.
A month in advance. It's smart. Well, no, we're gonna take that and we're gonna just swap that out for maybe like tan or blue. Yeah. We'll get you going, dude. You'll look good.
Dip the toe in the color. Exactly.
Exactly. I know it may be a little scary at first, but I promise you come see us. It's gonna look good. It's gonna fit right, and you'll be happy. And who knows? Maybe you'll get lucky and win some money, and you can come back. It'd be great.
In my history, I've not won money, so I'm not feeling hopeful. Yeah,
that place ain't built on winners, dude. No one's winning.
But everyone's having a great time, though.
They're having a hell of a time.
For the most part.
It's the best, dude. We are obviously slanted towards, we love when people get dressed up and have fun, but it really is such a special thing for our city. It's a huge aspect of our business. So we're just thankful to have the opportunity to bring people in, get them dressed, get them out to the track or all the events or whatever they're doing so that they can go and have fun with their loved ones. And then again, hopefully come back and do it again and again.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you again for being on. To all of you watching, appreciate you watching. We'll have all of their information in the description below. Definitely come check them out. And we'll see you on the next video.